Hey everyone, welcome to the video going over my favorite plays at the tight end position and my favorite defenses for week 1 of the NFL season on Draftkings. Before we continue though, if you could leave a like, and if you're new to the channel, if you could please hit that subscribe button, it really helps me out. I really appreciate that. And so you guys don't miss out on any of the new content, I'd recommend hitting the notification bell so you don't miss out on any of the new videos. And also, if you're looking in the background, this is my entire NFL sheet. Well, I guess it's not my entire NFL sheet, it's just the tight end portion of this sheet, but it's pretty much a entire data sheet that's got everything you need on here. It's supposed to help you make your research easier so you don't have to go through 50 different sites looking for 50 different things. It's all presented in one spot and it's color coded. It's presented nice and neat, or at least it is for me. It's got everything you need. I have projections on here. I have a ranking system that I do on here. I have a Slack chat where you can ask me all the questions you want. I'd love to do a members live stream. That'd be really fun. If I get enough people, I'd love to do that. I don't want to be doing it for like 10 of you guys. Yeah, so if you guys are interested, this is available in the link in the description below. Each sheet is a little bit different when it comes to wide receiver position, running back position, quarterback, defense. Each one's tweaked a little bit different, but I will show you a little preview of this if you want to know what it looks like. So we got the player info, obviously, matchup, the Vegas totals, the pace that they played at. Right now we have the 2018 stats. Obviously, that will update with the 2019 stats when that becomes available. And then we have the tight end versus, it'd be the tight end versus safety matchup, and the defense versus tight end. And actually, let me edit that really quick because I kind of copied that from the wide receiver page, but I had to do a little bit of tweaks. But yeah, we got the DVOA on there, Draftkings points allowed per game, tight end versus safety matchup, their percent advantage, yard per route ran, yards per game, touchdowns per game, everything you need on here, game info. We even have weather on here. I say we, it's just me. So I got the weather info on there, the factors for my projections, and then I'll have the rankings on there, and I can do a lot of other stuff too, anything you guys would be interested in. And I also have a cheat sheet available on here, so it's got an entire cheat sheet that it really helps me out. It's what I use to make my lineups, so I'll have that, the price, matchup, team total, points per game, DVOA, projection, value. Just gotta pop my guys in and everything pops up, and I have all that. So if you guys are interested, it's in the link in the description below. It will take you here. It's $10. I don't think it's too much. I'm not trying to charge a lot. It's just a nice data sheet to help you guys make lineups. I don't give out lineups. It's just to help make you lineups, and I'm here to answer all the questions you guys need. And I'm sorry for sounding like a drawn-out commercial, but these are my first NFL videos of the year, so I just had to let everyone know it's available. Hopefully you're still in the video. I apologize for taking so long. Now let's get into this slate, or my favorite tight end plays, whatever you want to say. So we're obviously going to start with the big three, and Travis Kelce, George Kittle, and Zach Ertz. So let's start with Kelce. He's the most expensive guy. He's $7,100, and he's coming off an incredible season where he averaged 81 yards per game, 8.5 targets per game, and over half a touchdown per game. Just all elite numbers all around. He also had a 26% target share in this elite offense, which means a lot more than having like a 26% target share on like the Titans. So really, what's not to like? Well, I would say the matchup. He's an elite talent, obviously, but I don't really want to pay a $7,100 premium for someone in a tough matchup when there's cheaper options I like in better spots. Jacksonville was pretty tough on tight ends in general last year, as they were 13th DVOA versus the position and allowed only 11.6 points per game. And obviously Kelce can pop off at a moment's notice, so he's more reserved for GPPs, especially with his quarterback Mahomes, who can always get him the ball and put it in tough spots, and he can really overcome any matchup. But this is it's a steep price, and the matchup is stiff, so it's probably someone I want to pass on in cash games, but GPPs, I think it's fine, of course. Then let's drop down to George Kittle at $6,600, and he draws a much more favorable matchup going up against Tampa, and if you watched my previous NFL videos, you would know I love this game from a fantasy perspective, which I should mention. I do have a wide receiver breakdown video, running back and quarterback already out. I posted the wide receiver video yesterday. The other videos a few days ago, so you just have to scroll a little bit. I'd recommend watching those too. So yeah, I love this game. Should be a decently high-scoring game with two below-average defenses and high-paced offenses. Spread is only 1, so it should stay close as well, which we love for fantasy, especially if you like for the passing game. And yeah, Kittle was a monster last season, and while I expect him to regress some, he had a lot of long touchdown catch and runs last season, and that's really hard to duplicate. I know he's a freak athlete, but again, it's just really hard to do what he did last year. Kittle actually averaged more yards per game than Kelsey last season at 86, and he also had a 26% target share on this team. Obviously, that's not as valuable as Kelsey since he's on a much better offense, but still, point stands. Tampa was 28 versus DVOA versus the tight end position last season, and they allowed 14 points per game, which was near on the high end for allowing points given up. And also, he's 500 cheaper than Kelsey, so I will have him ranked higher. He's a little bit of better value, and I think he's got just as much upside given the matchup and the bad matchup for Kelsey. And then Zach Ertz comes in at 6,100. He's the last of this elite tier of tight ends. So I like the price on him, but Washington was actually really tough on tight ends last season as they were 6th DVOA versus the position, and they only allowed 10 points per game, 44 yards per game, and only 0.25 touchdowns. So these were all pretty good numbers. So it doesn't look like it's a soft matchup for Kelsey. And plus, there's a lot, Ertz. And plus, there's a lot of mouths to feed in Philly with Goddard, Jeffrey, Jackson, who I guess actually broke his ring finger, but he's not expected to miss any time. And obviously, Ertz is there too. And we got the running backs, which is just a carousel. So it's really not a knock on Ertz. He's great, but this isn't my favorite spot. And there's some other cheaper options that I do like better. So speaking of cheaper options that I like better, we have O.J. Howard, and he finds himself one of my favorite games of the week. Like I've said a ton already, so I'm not going to repeat myself. But the dude is a stud. Now I don't think he's going to be a huge volume guy, but I think he gets enough, and combine that with his talent going against the 21st DVOA defense versus the tight end position at 5K, and I think he's a pretty solid play at that price tag. And now we have Evan Engram, who is one of the few guys left that will catch footballs for Eli Manning. Odell's gone, obviously. And he's extremely athletic, and he finds himself in a good matchup versus Dallas, who's below average versus the tight end position last season. And he was better without Odell last year, averaging more points per game. That makes a lot of sense. It's not a lot of science there. And so I like to play here at 4.8K. He's got extreme athletic ability, and he can break a long one. He's one of those tight ends that's got good speed. He's not a stiff board that catches the ball and falls down like Jason Witten. So do you like Engram? He offers you upside at 4,800. And let's drop down to Hunter Henry. Not really too interested in Ebron with Andrew Luck being gone. Just kind of downgrades the offense as a whole. And I assume Ebron's price will come down next for week 2 with Luck being gone, unless Ebron has a fantastic game. So here's the chalk play of the week. Hunter Henry at only 3,900. He's healthy, and he's been playing a full dose of snaps in the preseason, so that's definitely a good sign. Plus, Antonio Gates is finally gone. About time. I'm tired of watching the corpse of Antonio Gates just steal time from Hunter Henry. And he draws an amazing matchup versus the Colts, who are one of the worst teams in the league versus the tight end position. The 29th DVOA and allowed over 16 points per game. They also by far allowed the most yards per game at 77, which was pretty substantial compared to the rest of the league. I believe second was around 60-something. So when you have like a 10-yard difference, that's kind of big. I know it doesn't sound huge, but it is. And with Gordon being gone, I would assume Melvin Gordon's not showing up at this point. You'd have to think Henry gets at least a slight boost in targets or receptions. And I will leave you guys with two $3,000 options in the corpse of Jason Witten and Mark Andrews. Witten coming back out of retirement from the booth. Thank goodness. He was horrible on Monday night. So he's not a sexy play by any means, but he's dirt cheap, and he should be safe for 5, maybe 10 points if he can happen to fall into the end zone. And then Andrews, he's the more exciting play, Andrews, a lot of people are looking to break out, and I know it makes sense if you look at his, statistics from last season, and you can project that onto this season. He looks to, be a solid breakout candidate. He's probably not, he's not going to dominate the league or anything, but he draws an average matchup, but he has more big playability than Witten, so he's probably a better JVP option, probably more of a boomer bust guy, especially with Lamar Jackson throwing him the ball. And I will go over some of my favorite defensive plays. I know it's not the most exciting thing in the world, but we got to play one, so might as well break that down. Let me sort this by salary, just so it's in a better order for you guys. Okay, so up top, we have the Ravens, who are the obvious play, versus Miami. It's the lowest Vegas total on the slate at 37.5, and they also have an implied total against them of only 16, which is the lowest on the entire slate. They added Earl Thomas to an already elite defense, and literally no one on the Dolphins offense scares me. No disrespect to Kalen Ballage, but they're expensive, but this is almost a sure bet to be the safest play on the board. It's just a matter if you can afford them, and really I think you can. So if you want to feel really safe with your defense so you don't get burned week 1 from a defense going negative, I think the Ravens are the best choice. And next defense I like the most is the Bills at home versus a quarterback who will turn over the ball, and Josh Allen. I'm sorry, the Jets at home versus a quarterback that will turn the ball over in Josh Allen. Again, it's a low total, second lowest actually, and the third lowest implied total versus them, and it's a fair price at only 3,100. I think the Jets are a very solid play. Then I like the Lions versus the Cardinals, who it's just a little interesting. I'm not in love with the play, but it should be a little contrarian versus the Kyler Murray ownership, so I don't mind going against the field on that one. And then a couple more options. The Browns versus the Titans without Taylor Lewan. Myles Garrett should be able to dominate that matchup. And now with having Olivier Vernon on the other side, and then we got Sheldon Richardson on there, and Ogunjobi's really good too. He's really underrated. If you don't know who that guy is, look him up. He's good. And I don't know if you guys saw that preseason game versus Tampa, but when the Browns starting line was in there, they absolutely dominated. Now, I know the Tampa Bay offensive line is nothing special, but Winston was running for his life back there. 5 sacks in about the first and early second quarter. So could be a sack party, could get some turnovers. Mariota's not the best quarterback in the world. Then the Eagles are big favorites versus Washington, so they can make some sense. They're decently cheap. Seahawks are big favorites at home in front of the 12th man versus the Bengals, who are without A.J. Green. And their offensive lines are not very good at all. And then the Giants, the Cowboys, they will be one of my last interests on this slate. They're 7-point home. They're 7-point favorites at home versus the Giants, so they can make some sense as well. Anyway, guys, that's all I got for the video. The tight end and defense videos are never as fun as the wide receivers, quarterbacks, and running backs, but we got to do them. We got to play them, so got to break them down. But I hope this was helpful for you, and if it was, if you guys could leave a like, and if you're new to the channel, please hit that subscribe button. It really helps me out. I really appreciate it. I'm going to be doing content all season long, so I don't want you guys to miss out. And I also do MLB and NASCAR if you guys like those too. I know NASCAR is probably going to die out because NFL is starting, but hey, I'm still going to do it. And I'll leave you guys with that. Looking forward to week 1. I'm sure you guys are too. And I'll see you in the next video, whenever that will be.